Leroy Nicky Barnes, born in 1933 in Harlem, New York, became one of the most infamous drug lords in American history. His story intertwines deeply with the Italian Mafia, illustrating a complex relationship characterized by cooperation, tension, and betrayal. This narrative reflects broader themes in organized crime, where racial lines were often crossed for mutual profit, only to be redrawn in times of conflict and treachery. Barnes's foray into crime began with small-time hustling on the streets of Harlem. His criminal activities eventually led to his incarceration in the early 1970s. It was in prison where Barnes's life took a pivotal turn. He met and became close to Matthew Madonna, a significant figure in the Lucchese crime family. This relationship was instrumental as Madonna introduced Barnes to the intricacies of the narcotics trade, marking Barnes's transition from petty crime to major drug trafficking. Upon his release, Barnes, using the knowledge and connections gained from Madonna, formed the Council, a conglomerate of African-American drug dealers, designed to manage heroin operations smoothly and efficiently, mimicking the mafia's structured approach to organized crime. The Council allowed for cooperative heroin distribution, while avoiding the pitfalls of gang wars by establishing territories and rules that mirrored the mafia's operational structures. The Italian Mafia, particularly the Lucchese and later the Gambino families, played a critical role in Barnes's rise. They supplied the raw heroin, which Barnes and his associates would then refine, package, and distribute. This arrangement was mutually beneficial. Barnes had a reliable supply of drugs, and the Mafia accessed new markets in predominantly black neighborhoods, expanding their narcotic revenues without direct involvement, which could attract law enforcement scrutiny. By the mid-1970s, Nicky Barnes had become one of New York City's leading drug kingpins, famously known as Mr. Untouchable for his ability to evade law enforcement. His empire was said to have grossed over $25 million annually at its peak. Barnes's lifestyle was flamboyant and public. He was featured in a New York Times Magazine article wearing expensive clothes and flaunting his wealth, much to the irritation of both law enforcement and the Mafia. The relationship between Barnes and the Italian Mafia began to sour as Barnes's visibility drew unwanted attention to the operations. The Mafia was traditionally cautious about public exposure, preferring to operate in the shadows, which was in direct contrast to Barnes's ostentatious public persona. Moreover, as the drug trade became more lucrative, tensions over profit sharing and territorial disputes intensified. Barnes's arrest in 1977 and subsequent life sentence in 1978 were partly seen as facilitated by the Mafia's decreased willingness to protect him, possibly viewing him as too exposed and too much of a liability. While in prison, Barnes's outlook transformed after discovering that his associates had betrayed him, breaking one of the cardinal rules of the Council by engaging romantically with his girlfriend. Feeling betrayed and seeking revenge, Barnes decided to become a federal informant in 1981. His testimony led to the indictments and convictions of over 50 drug dealers, including several members of the Council. Nicky Barnes's story is a powerful saga of ambition, power, and downfall. It reflects the complexities of race, crime, and collaboration in the underworld economies. His interactions with the Italian Mafia highlight a period when racial barriers could be momentarily set aside for profit, yet these same barriers would quickly be reinstated in times of crisis or betrayal. Barnes died in 2012, but his life remains a stark illustration of the volatile alliances within the world of organized crime and the inevitable consequences of such dangerous liaisons. In the end, Nicky Barnes's relationship with the Italian Mafia was a complex and multifaceted alliance that ultimately ended in betrayal and downfall. Barnes, once hailed as Mr. Untouchable for his ability to evade law enforcement, forged strategic ties with the Mafia, leveraging their resources and expertise to establish himself as a dominant force in the drug trade. The collaboration between Barnes and the Mafia facilitated the expansion of narcotics distribution networks, leading to immense profits for both parties. However, as Barnes's visibility grew and tensions over profit sharing and territory escalated, cracks began to form in the once solid partnership. The Mafia, traditionally cautious about public exposure, grew wary of Barnes's flamboyant lifestyle and increased scrutiny from law enforcement. As a result, when Barnes faced legal troubles in the late 1970s, the Mafia's support waned, ultimately contributing to his downfall. Despite their initial cooperation, Barnes's betrayal by both his associates and the Mafia itself marked a turning point in their relationship. Barnes's decision to become a federal informant and testify against former allies shattered any remaining trust between him and the Mafia. His cooperation led to the dismantling of the council and the convictions of numerous drug dealers, including Mafia affiliates. In the annals of organized crime, Nicky Barnes's relationship with the Italian Mafia serves as a cautionary tale of the transient nature of alliances in the criminal underworld. It underscores the ruthless pursuit of power and profit, where loyalty is often sacrificed for self-preservation. While Barnes's collaboration with the Mafia may have yielded short-term gains, it ultimately sealed his fate, illustrating the precarious nature of trust among thieves in the high-stakes game of organized crime.